Hi, darlings. Welcome back to my makeup garden. It's Liz. Hi. Hello. It's been a hot minute since I have filmed anything. I was sick the entire month of February, but I figured why not just jump back into the saddle? Let's get back in the habit of filming. So we're going to do a get ready with me today. I'm just going to do some makeup, some very simple, nothing fancy. My rosacea is flaring because it just hasn't stopped. And I figure, fuck it, let's just do some eyeshadow and get back in the habit. So I am doing an abysmal job with my panning project for this year. So my goal was to hit pan in every shade of the Fearless Holiday Palette by Dede Signature. And clearly, I'm not doing a very good job. To be fair though, this palette goes a lot further than I thought it was gonna go. I don't know why in my brain, I thought that this was gonna be like somewhat easier to pan considering that I use it all the time. And I've got some good dips, like finger dips in some of the shimmer shades, but the rest of it, she ain't going nowhere. Like literally I was like, it's gonna take me forever. So I wanna do, I know that I'm wearing blue and pink but I kind of want to do an orange look. So I think that's what we're gonna do. So let's catch up. How are you? How have you been? Comment in like below and just tell me, hello people, I love your faces. I'm so sorry. I was ill and then I was fine, but we were busy. And then now I have sinusy again, but fuck it. If I don't start now, I'm just not gonna do it. So I'm gonna go into pumpkin patch right here because my face is already red, so why not add more to it, right? So earlier this year, that's such a stupid thing to say. I think the last time I posted, I was in Boston and I was stuck in that first snowstorm. So after I got home, oh my God, so what happened is I got stuck there. Let's start there. It seems like a good place to pick up where we left off. I got stuck there for a full another day. And then I flew out. I got on the plane of my rescheduled return flight. That was like the third one they had rescheduled that day for me. And then we sat in the plane and I had the time to watch My Fair Lady and an Indiana Jones movie before we ever took off. So it ended up being 6 hours on the tarmac, and shade to Delta because they changed our flight time. We got on that plane and it was like 2:00 in the afternoon, which was an hour and a half later than it should have been. So we got on that plane. They changed our flight time in the Delta app, and I have screenshots. I reported it to the FAA. They changed it to 8:30 p.m. so that they would not get the $27,000 fine from leaving us on the tarmac for 6 hours. So we loaded the plane, we were on the tarmac, then they de-iced, then we pulled forward again because one of the engines wouldn't start. Then they like jump started that engine. Listen, it was risky, but we were all trying to go home. We're like, this is risky. We all smelled gas, the engine wasn't firing. They got the engine to go, thankfully. And then all of us are like, okay, great, we're gonna take off. Then we had to taxi over to the de-icing area because with the machine that was helping engine number 1 run attached to it, they couldn't de-ice at the gate. So they taxied us to a different part of the airport, and then we had to wait our turn, and we were there. We were within 15 minutes of the crew having to pull into the gate and disembark because they were over on their time. So I made it home, woo, after spending 10 hours in an airplane for like a 3-hour flight, which was whatever. I got home. But then I got really, really sick. And I can't imagine why. It's not like I went through being in recycled air with strangers and being in the airport for 10 hours each day. But that's, it's fine. It was Boston Logan, and it's always a mess, realistically, in my experiences there. But anyway, got home, got really sick. To the point where I coughed so hard that I blew out my eardrum, and it wasn't testing. They didn't know what it was. It was undiagnosed respiratory virus because it didn't test as anything that they knew. So, okay, fine. It took weeks, and I mean like a full solid month to get better. before I was able to even hear again. I coughed so hard I blew my eardrum out. Then that became infected. Then I had to go on antibiotics for that. And it was a shit show. February was not a good month for me. But it's done. March is done now. We're going into April. Today's the last day of March. Easter is this upcoming weekend. That's going to be fun, especially with the littles. So we do an Easter egg hunt for the littles, but we also do one for the adults in our lives. And they come over, and each family group, like my sisters and my neighbors, they have adult Easter eggs that they bring, and we hide them all in my yard. And it's like White Claws and beers and mini bottles and dollar scratch offs and eggs, and it's just really fun. And we do that every year because as an adult, you don't get a lot of those opportunities unless you make them yourself. So one year we just decided we were going to start making them ourselves. Okay, so I think I'm going to go. I really wanted the orange. This looks so orange on the screen, but it's actually red looking, and it's a red orange. I'm kind of tempted by this, but I'm also kind of tempted by this. I think I'm going to go into this and then this maybe. Let's see. But anyway, so we have that coming up this weekend. That's going to be really fun. And we just try to have it. I am not somebody who is into the Christian side of Easter or any of that. For me, it's very much just the surface level bunnies and all of that. I don't put much stock in the actual religious side of the holiday. It's not for me. But so we just have fun with it. The kids like to do the Easter egg hunts and all of that stuff. And then usually we end up having to go see my husband's family because they usually do like a family Easter egg hunt and all that, and like a lunch. So yeah, so we've just been doing that. I've just been working, and we've been doing the day-to-day stuff. My littles are getting bigger, and yeah, we've just kind of been existing. And I found that once I like kind of got out of the habit of filming, I was having a really hard time getting it back up, and I was getting in my own way. Like you can tell now, the background, hot mess. Shit's just piled up in this dining room. And my husband started practicing piano, so you see like a keyboard behind me, and it's just kind of become a catch-all. I'm getting ready to redo. We're gonna rearrange things. So we have a 2-bedroom house, but we have a big like Florida room that's been converted into like a full room. So it's not like janky. It's air conditioned and like fully enclosed. So my husband and I are actually going to put some privacy film up on a couple of the windows, and we already have curtains up in that space. And then we are going to move into the back room, and my daughter's going to move into our room, and then that way the kids have separate rooms. So we can't afford to buy another house right now. And we have a 2-bedroom, and we have a boy and a girl. And because my daughter is getting a little bit older, and frankly, she is so sick of my son, it's become apparent that we need to split them up. So in lieu of attempting to like figure out how we're going to buy another house, which we are not doing anytime soon, the market where we are is just too expensive. And like we could never buy a house for what we bought our house for, like, you know, so many years ago. So we're going to make it work for our families. So I'm going to keep using the closet in there. She and I are going to split it. My husband already keeps the stuff in a separate closet because we only have like one closet per room. Honestly, this color combo though, it's giving. It's giving. I do feel like I need to put something on my lips, so we'll do that. So I'm going to do that soon. I got to do a bunch of painting and all of that. And then I feel the deep compulsive need to completely take everything out of the house and deep scrub. So that's just kind of where I've been. Hold on. I think I'm going to throw some lip oil on because my pouties, they are feeling a little, little dry. Here we go. So we've just been existing. I've been doing a little bit of reading, not too much. That's kind of how I've been filling my time, that and watching some animes again. So I recently rewatched all of Apothecary Diaries, And I rewatched all of Solo Leveling, and we get new Apothecary Diaries. I believe it's this year. The first part of it's like end of this year, which means I will probably be rewatching that again. I just finished, actually, I'm in the process of watching Frieren at Journey's End. I've never watched that before, so I'm in the process of watching that now. Okay, what are we gonna put on these eyes? Okay, here's the deal. I like the sparkles in this palette, but they're not like my end-all be-all sparkles, but I do kind of feel like I want some of this orange, so let me grab my primer. I'm still using Devinah Specular. It remains my favorite eye primer to this day. I do have a code with them. I think it's still active. I don't know, it's been a while. But they just actually released a new palette. It's very like cool toned purples. And I was tempted. I might pick up some singles from that launch when they're available. It is sold out right now, but I might pick up, because there's like a silvery purple that's like very silvery. And I was like, ooh. But yeah, I figured I would just try to film today, even though everything is a hot mess and I feel very unorganized. But I've been procrastinating so much. Like, we're just kind of existing. We're just doing the best we can to like survive, you know? So that has been the daily struggle. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that way. I'm sure we are, especially if you're in the United States. So I just kind of feel like I'm just kind of existing at this juncture in the evening, in the day. Do I want to tap this off? Fuck it. Let's tap it all over. I've been really enjoying doing like single shadow looks because I got the whole month of February, because I was sick, I didn't do any makeup. And I was kind of out of the habit of doing my eyeshadow, which I previously have done before work regularly. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this work. And damned if this last week I was like, okay, fine. I'm finally feeling better. I don't know why I'm using my middle finger. I'm making things so much harder on myself. I'm finally just going to start doing, and I just went the whole week and I tried to do my eyeshadow the whole week. And I was just using this palette. I didn't go through my collection, although I do feel the need to purge things from my collection. So I'm probably going to end up doing that. I feel really like burdened by I haven't been reaching for a lot. And while I am nostalgic about some like eyeshadow palettes, others I'm just kind of like, I was keeping this because it's a good palette and because I barely used it. And it goes to like the excess. I went through a phase where it was like, I have to have every new release and everything. And I'm really trying not to do that. I think I've bought like, I don't know, 2 eyeshadow palettes this whole year. And I'm really just kind of trying to tone it back because I have so many in my collection. Like, I really want that new, what are they called? The Simply Posh Cosmetics, their new Lavender Fields. But then I think it looks like, okay, even though my eyebrows aren't done, let's just take a moment to appreciate the fact that this is serving with so few colors, right? I do love an orange eyeshadow. But I like the look of that palette and I want it, but I'm like, oh, I have the Lunar Beauty Moonshroom palette and it looks very similar to me. So I'm like, can I justify buying it? The answer is no, but also yes. So it remains to be seen. We'll see what I end up doing. Okay, I think I'm going to go into Soft Phase, which is this light tan. I don't use this color a lot. It doesn't show up super well. I mean, it shows up okay, but it doesn't last on me. So, but I am just trying to get back in the habit of doing things. Let's see, what else has been going on? You know, really, I feel like there's been so much, but it's a lot of personal stuff. And it's not like, you know, anything that it's a lot of stuff with the kids and a lot of family stuff. Like going into February, my dad's longtime girlfriend died, on top of everything else. She had Lewy body dementia and she finally succumbed to her disease. And it's both a relief and it's sad, but like my dad was dealing with all of that and we were helping him do that. And so it just kind of feels like this year has been challenging, to say the least. Okay, so I'm going into this with this Paradise Big Deal mascara. No lie, first impressions, I actually liked this a lot. But as time has gone on, as the formula has started to age and like dry out a little bit, it has a tendency to get kind of clumpy or not give me what I want. It's not giving me the same volume or the same lift. It still does a fine job, but I do notice a difference as the formula dries down. Some get better, like Lash Paradise gets better as it starts to dry down. This is not that. This doesn't get better as it dries down, in my opinion. I think it still does a fine job, but it's not the end-all be-all mascara. I will probably switch back to the Benefit They're Real mascara because I think that is my favorite. I vacillate between loving the Lash Paradise by L'Oreal and the Benefit, all of the Benefit mascaras, frankly. But I do think this mascara for a drugstore mascara is fine. But if we're thinking about it realistically, drugstore mascaras, unless you're using a coupon, have gotten so much more expensive. So you're like halfway to a Benefit mascara, especially if there's a sale at Ulta. And buying one of these, I would rather just get the Benefit one, frankly. And then I actually get what I want. So, spring break happened already. That's done for us. We ended up taking the kids over to Everglades National Park. We did an airboat tour of the Everglades. And that's about 4 hours from my house. Because I live in Florida, in case you didn't, if you're new here, hi. So we did that. We did that. We stayed in Florida City, which I had, I guess, only driven through maybe. I never actually spent any time there. There ain't nothing in Florida City. I tried to go to 3 separate restaurants that were close to our hotel. 3. And all of them ended up being permanently closed. Like it was like the clown car of restaurant adventures. And I finally called my husband. I was like, I'm going to KFC. What do you want? Because everything was closed. It was ridiculous, honestly. But it's a lot of agriculture in that area. Hold on, I need to find my eyeliner. Hold, please. So anyway, we did that, and then we went to Zoo Miami, which was significantly less than Lowry Park, price-wise. But you do get a lot less for it. Like, it's a big space. But Lowry Park includes a lot of things. And I guess I'm just spoiled by being so close to Lowry Park Zoo that I don't even think twice about it. I'm going to the Jones Road. This is just their black eyeliner pencil. And fret not, I did sharpen this yesterday when I used it. So it's not like it's been sitting for a long time. But we did that, and it was a nice zoo. Whoever's in charge of the plants at Zoo Miami really loves air plants and orchids, because the orchids were stunning. If you're a plant person, you would probably really like it, because there were just all of these like huge, beautiful orchids mounted in the trees, and like a third of them were blooming, and it was, honestly, it was hella impressive. But the animal exhibits, about a third of like the bigger enclosures were closed for renovation or coming soon. And they nickel and dimed you on a lot of things, so it was less expensive to get into Zoo Miami. But when you got in, the carousel was a pay per ride, which is where I'm not used to, because Lowry Park, it's just free. Like you pay a lot more to get in, but then there's a lot of things. And there wasn't a lot to do there except actually look at animals, which is fine. It's a zoo. And it wasn't very busy because it looked like it was going to rain, but then it didn't. And it was the best of Florida experiences. Okay. Am I done with that? I'm done with that. Okay. I kind of want a little bit, just a smidge of blush. I have an eye boogie that just does not want to leave. A blush. Yeah, let's blush. My rosacea is flaring. Obviously, my face is all red. But, you know, I don't give a shit. I'm grabbing my Juicy Cheeks palette by Blend Bunny. This palette has palette has seen some things. And it doesn't look like I even use it. It just doesn't. It just, I'm going to use this BK Beauty brush. This is the 101. I don't particularly like this brush, but I can't find my favorite. That's another obstacle is I haven't washed my brushes. So there's fucking, I don't even have like a third of my brushes clean. They're just kind of sitting around. Okay, we're just going to add some orange. Let's just add a little orange to the redness that's here. I'm just going into tangy and squeeze. But yeah, so we did do Miami and then we drove home that night. So we did Everglades, the second part of Everglades, like where the trails are and stuff. With little kids, we only did a couple of trails because we were there. And then we went to Zoo Miami, and then we drove home. And then the next day we got up and we went to Legoland. And that was really fun, except for they lost power in the park on all of the roller coasters for about half the day. So we still ended up being able to do all the things that we wanted to do, but there were some really angry people, and that's understandable because it is expensive to go to a theme park, especially during spring break when there's like price hikes and all of that. Like, it's ridiculous. But we weren't too mad because we were able to do all the things that we wanted to do. So I cannot imagine that that is pan. Ain't no way. I see a grid. I can see the grid, and I'm very curious what the layer is looking like under tangy there. But yeah, so that's what we did. And then we drove home, and it was a good time. We saw my dad that week too. He's like 3 hours from us, so it was an eventful time. But it's fun, and it's done, and things have kind of leveled out a little bit for now. So I have a little bit of a time window on Tuesdays. I'm going to try to keep filming on Tuesdays while I have this break because my daughter has chess club. So I kind of get an extra hour from when I get off work to when I have to go pick her up. So here we are trying to do our thing. So I love your faces. Tell me what you've been up to in the comments below. If you're new here, hi, my name's Liz, my makeup garden. Normally I have plants and all of that, and it's been a clusterfuck. So you caught me on my wrist. That's fine. I'm a constant work in progress, but I love your faces. Thanks so much for being here, and tell me what you think about the eye look. It is a basic bitch. I'm a basic bitch sometimes, and this is a simple but very pretty look. I do love an orange eyeshadow. I just want to keep looking at myself. Okay, I love your faces. Bye.